Yes.
All right, that's good. Okay, so there are still 2 or 3 students who are still not here yet. It's okay. I will let them in when they do join. And it's good to see most of you here. I think altogether there are about 49 to 50 students. I'm not sure yet. The most recent list I have 46. Then there's some of you, maybe you registered later, so your names don't appear in the attendance list. That's okay. I've written your names down. So as I progress in the semester, I will print a new list and most likely your name will be in. But I think roughly there are about 49 students in this class. Okay, so not as big as the last class. It's manageable, and hopefully all of you will get something from this class when it's all over. Okay. All right. So let me stop sharing this. Move on to the next one. Okay, you should be seeing the introduction to the subject slide in front of you. And if you can't see it, please let me know. Give me a thumbs up or say something on your, okay, so that I know that you're seeing the slide that I want you to see. Everyone okay? Can you see
We
this?
can see, sir. We can see.
All right, thank you. Yeah. All right. So the name of the subject is graphic communication, and the subject code is COM1094. If you have forgotten my name is Leon Lexman. Okay, I'm a senior teaching fellow with the Department of Communication, School of Arts, which happens to be in Sunway University. And for this semester, all the lectures will be done online because there are 50 of you. So to actually do social distancing with 50 of you is a bit difficult. Actually, it's very difficult because we don't have a room big enough to fit everyone and put you all 1 meter apart. So for all the lectures, it will be done online through Zoom. Saying that all of you are here, so you have read my announcement on eLearn and you would have already got or the Zoom meeting ID for the lectures. So for practical classes, what will happen is there are some practical classes I will have face-to-face and some online. I will talk to you more about it, okay, as we move on. So the outline of today's introductory lecture is on your screen right now. And please take a look at it. We are going to go through all of this today. I will tell you a little bit about the subject. You look at my current timetable and see how busy I am. This semester, take a look at the software use. I know one of you sent me an email yesterday asking me if you need to, okay, whether the university will provide. I think I've already replied the email. I replied the email this morning and I will talk to you more about it when we get to that section. You look at the assessment and everything else that you need to know about this subject. If you can't hear me or you can't see something, please stop me. Okay, let me know in the chat box, or you can even say something out loud. So don't forget, for those of you who have just joined us, don't forget to write your names in the chat box like last semester so that I can register your attendance. And let's move on. Okay, so I've already told you my name. You know my name. Of course you do. Okay, based from last semester. And since this time around, I will be having some face-to-face classes. If you want to know where I sit at level 9. Okay, but the face-to-face classes will all be at level 5 in a lab called the multimedia lab. If you have been to the university, if you've been to the campus, it's in the new building. Okay, so go up to the 5th floor and you should see the multimedia lab there. I'll talk to you more about this. Okay, and then if you're planning in calling me, which is actually, I put my number there, okay? 74918622. The extension is 7473. Okay, you should be able to reach me on those days that I will be on campus. I won't be on campus all the time, okay? Because I'm also practicing some social distancing and trying not to be there most of the time. So you know now, okay? All this is happening right now. Please keep my email address somewhere. If you have it from last semester, don't delete it. Keep it there because this is the way you are going to get in touch with me for this subject. Just like last semester, when you email me, I will email you back. I will reply to your email on weekdays between, let's say, between 7:30 to 5 p.m. and weekends. I don't reply to emails on Saturdays, Sundays, and public holidays. So take note, if you send me something after 5 p.m. on weekdays, I will reply the next day. If it's something that is sent to me during the weekend, then what is going to happen is I will reply to you once the weekend is over. Okay? Okay, keep your questions for later. So all the consultation is done online, just like last semester. I have a consultation slot. I'll show you in a short while, which I have put up for you guys. Okay. And I will talk to you more about it, okay, when I show you my timetable. So check my timetable, which you can find in eLearn. So everything starts in week 2. Please take note of it. That means your tutorial, your practical consultation and all that starts next week. Okay, this week is more of a introduction to the subject and what you need to do. I will answer your question in a short while, Wintang. So please hold on. Let's move on. Okay, let's take a look at my current timetable. Okay, pause this and share timetable. If you can't see the timetable, please let me know. Okay, so you should be seeing the timetable in front of you. Okay, and this is how busy I am every day of the week. Okay, every day of the week. You see what they've done is they've given me 6 hours just on Monday alone. Okay, after your class today, I have another class which is COM1094, and then the one that you did last semester, MU3 2313, which is from 2 to 4. 2 to 4, you know, not in the morning, it's 2 to 4. I can imagine most of the students will be so sleepy at the time. Then we're doing it from home. And with your bed just nearby, I can imagine most of them will be, you know, hopefully they will be awake at the time, just like you guys right now. And then on Tuesday, if you notice on Tuesday, I have some classes, okay, from the morning right up to the evening. And if you notice in yellow, the second consultation over there, which is for COM1094. Now, I checked against your timetable. Okay, I know you guys are from the January 20 and March 2020 batch. So I checked against the timetable and I found that this slot is actually free. That's what I saw now from what has been given to me. So If you think you're not free at that time, then let me know later on. Okay, later on, or write me something, say something in the chat. Okay, but I checked against your timetable and I found that hour to be free. Now, why I've selected 2 to 3 is because of the classes I have in the morning, and sometimes on Tuesday I will be on campus. So you must give me some time to get back home. I won't be doing consultation in the office, whether face-to-face or online. I will get back home and then do the consultation. So just look out for me during that time. Okay. In fact, we have, I think you guys are all free even after that. So don't worry if you can't meet me, say between 2 to say 3, and you come in only at say 2:55 and you think I'm going to go off. If you are there, I will still spend some time with you guys and try to clear your doubts about the assignment, okay, as much as I can. On Wednesday, they've given me some time off, but this time off is not for me to be free. I will be working on your subjects and all other things that the office gives me. Okay. And then Thursday, if you take a look, okay, this is a bit weird the way they have done this, but they start off with those who are registered with practical 2 first on Thursday, and from 8 to 10, and then there's an hour break followed by P3. Those who are registered in the P3 sub P3, you join me at 11 to 1. Okay, then P1 students will join me on Friday from 10 to 12. Okay, you see the supposed to be P1, P2 followed by P3, but P1 appears on Friday, and then P2 and 3 is on Thursday. All right, I put there online / MMPL. So now I'm going to explain what is going to happen. Okay, so not every week I will be meeting you face to face. I know some of you are still not here in Malaysia. Don't worry about it. When I do have a face to face class, you can join me, okay, online also. So let's say for some reason, local students who don't want to join me face to face, I know some of you who don't want to be on campus, you want to do everything online, not a problem. Just make sure you're in the right, okay, make sure that you are in the right group and join me for that class. So if I'm having it in MMPL, face to face with the students, with whoever is there at that time, say for P2, so at 8 a.m., those who want to join me online can join me. Okay, so I'm going to do what is known as a dual mode, okay? It will be face to face and online. Now, like I said, not all the classes are face to face. I've selected 4 classes for this semester to be face to face, 4 classes out of the 14 weeks, but we won't be doing all 14 weeks. Okay, your semester should, so your, not to say semester, the week should end around week 12, week 13 for this subject. Okay, maybe for other subjects, it will end around week 13. It all depends on how fast you can do things. So I've selected 4 classes, and the first face-to-face class, okay, take note, everyone, the first face-to-face class, I will be seeing everyone next week. Okay, if let's say you don't want to join me, then make sure you know what is that meeting ID, the Zoom meeting ID's ID for that particular practical class, or let's say for Thursday from 8 to 10, and join me. Okay, join me for the 8 to 10 class. Now, what is going to happen is, for those who are coming in face to face, you all go directly to the multimedia lab. Okay, I will need to grant you access to get into the lab. You'll need to use your student ID, okay, and then touch the keypad outside the lab. Okay, there's only one on the left hand side. Touch that, and it should allow you to enter the lab. Now, please touch the LCD screen section, not the buttons. And if it asks you to enter any password, don't enter any password. If it turns red, it denies you entry. Don't force your way into the room. Okay, wait until I open the door from inside or when I get there. I should be there in the lab by about 7:45, 7:50 because I want to set up, okay, my computer so that I can allow the students who are online to join the session. But for those of you who can't enter, you please be patient because I need to send your names. Actually, I'll send all your names to someone in admin and they will then grant you access to enter the room. But most likely on the first, okay, next week on Thursday, I will most likely run into some hiccups whereby you won't be allowed in. Wait for me to get there and then I will allow you in. I hope you can remember how I look. If you can't, then look out for that baby Yoda will be walking along the corridor to open the door for you. Okay. Please go and see how I look like in wherever you can find my photograph, okay, so that you will be able to see me. So I know some of you are still not here because of certain restrictions and certain things that are happening all around the world. Okay, I hope that answered your question, Mintrang. You know how to join the class. You know how to join the class from wherever you are. This is not only for international students, this is also for local students who don't want to join me physically. Okay, right after the class, when it's over, please don't come and crowd around the table. Just take your bag and walk out of the room so that I can let in the next group, which starts at 11 o'clock. I can prepare for the next group that comes in, okay, at 11 o'clock to join me. Okay, so once again, to keep all that social distancing in place, don't come to my table and ask me questions. Keep it for the consultation, which will be done online. I will still do it the way I do it face to face. Just make sure that your Zoom is working. You can join me and you can share your screen and stuff like that. Okay, so that I'll be able to give you my feedback on what I've done. So take note. So this first face-to-face class is going to take place next week, week 2. Okay, I would like to see all of you. Okay, physically, I like to see all of you, and I think some of you would like to see me. So let's meet up next week, Thursday, the first group, which is P2 from 8 o'clock, and then the second group at 11, which is P3, and then on Friday, I will see the third group, which is P1. Okay, so if you can't wait to be on campus or you want to see some of the lecturers, please do drop by and join the class. Now, try not to what you call change your practical classes. So if you belong to P3, please attend P3. If you belong to P2, attend P2. Now, what happens if you miss a class? As usual, I will have a recording of it uploaded in the practical section of eLearn. You can go you can go and watch the video once it's uploaded. Okay. Online, maybe I can still accommodate you, but physical, I can't do the change. So please, if you are from P3 and you want to appear in P2, try not to make it because they have only allowed, I think, 25 students per class or something like that. So you've all selected your classes. For the practical, please stick to it, okay? For lecture, everything is online, so no need to worry about lecture. It's just the practical. And then once we meet up next week, then I will tell you when is the next time we will meet up again, okay? And so on. So I will see you all in the flesh next week during your practical, the first practical class. There's my mouse. Okay. Any questions on this? Anything you want to ask me? Everyone okay? I'm going to move on, okay? I think now I've gone on, now there are 50 students in this class. Okay, earlier when I printed out, it was 46, now 50. Class keeps growing and growing. Right. Okay, are you seeing the slide right now, everyone? Okay. Okay, so let's continue. If you're okay with the timetable, let's continue. Now, if let's say for some reason you can't join me for that consultation slot online, you can always email me and let me know when you are free and I'll check against my timetable and see how we can meet up. Okay, that's not a problem. Email, everything is via email. So not And please use your iMail to email me. Anyone emailing me with your Gmails and your other personal email addresses, I will respond to you the first time, and I will remind you to email me using your iMail in the future. So please take note of that. Okay, so what is this subject all about? Yes, that big emoji with the hands over his over his mouth and the eye looking at. So what is this subject all about? If you have friends in the, if you have some senior friends, which I know most of you have because of the last semester, then you most likely would have got some, some thing about some info about the subject. But if you haven't talked to anyone yet, let me take you through. Okay, let me tell you what this subject is all about. Okay, let's move on. Let's look at a subject synopsis. Okay, so what this subject is all about is I'm going to expose you uh, on ways to produce original creative designs, and we're going to use what is already in the industry, and that is Adobe's Illustrator and Photoshop. Now, I know some of you know how to use this, maybe from your earlier, what do you call, earlier studies in either somewhere or somewhere else, or maybe you have even learned it on your own. But don't worry, those who don't have any clue about Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop, remember, I will treat everyone in this class as beginners. So you don't have to worry, okay? If you already know, it's good for you. If you don't know, don't worry. By the time you finish this semester, you will have some idea and some skill sets on how to use Illustrator and Photoshop. Okay, so for this subject, I'm only using these two software. Now, the labs, the multimedia lab in Sunway, the one that you're going to use for your practical, has got this software already installed. Okay, they've got the Adobe Professional Creative Suite installed. Whether it's the 2018 version or the 2020 version, doesn't matter. They've got it installed there, you can use it. Okay, if you don't have the software on your machine at home, then there are various ways of getting it. Okay, there are various ways of getting it. You can buy it legally if you want to. I use the word legally. Yeah? You can buy it. Okay, there is they have some sort of a subscription that you can pay every month to use the software, student price. Okay, you can go to Adobe to find out more about it. There's also another way which I like to call it or term it as the illegal legal way. Okay, if you're hearing this for the first time, illegal legal way means you can also purchase it at a much more lower price at certain online stores, okay, e-commerce stores. If you are wondering how to go about doing it, okay, maybe you want to email me on the side, and then I can help you go about getting the software. Okay, it's not very expensive, but you get the full version. Okay, then for those who are a bit more tech savvy, if you know how to crack, then you can also download, which I'm not recommending, but if you want to, you can download and then install the software on your machine. Okay, you need to have these two, Illustrator and Photoshop. I don't allow any other software to be used. Okay, I want you to have these two software installed on your machine. You can go and get the full creative suite if you want to, but make sure these two are the ones that are working. Okay. So with Illustrator, which is what we'll be doing in the first half of the semester, I will show you how to create, say, how to do some basic illustration using that software. And then in the second half of the semester, we'll be using Photoshop to do photo editing. Okay. Then you'll use a combination of both Illustrator and Photoshop to do your final project. Okay, which I call it as the major project, which I'll talk about it in a while. So we are looking at, designing. You after having learned this, you can design logos, you can design business cards, letterheads if you want to, magazine covers, and so on. There are a lot of things you can do with Illustrator. Illustrator can be fun if you know how to use it. Okay, even knowing how to use it at the basic level can really help you. Now, if you're wondering why do this subject, let me tell you something. You will be using Illustrator and Photoshop for future subjects to some, I mean, it doesn't have to be a major thing in that subject. It can be some minor stuff that you'll be doing, but you will definitely have to fall back to these two software to do your work. And when you go for your internship, there are some companies, okay, that require you to have basic knowledge of this software. If you progress, let's say if you do if you progress in the semester, you will find that I will show you how to use some other Adobe software that you can then add to your resume and strengthen it, okay, when you go for when you go job hunting in the future. So this is something that is important. Okay, I have in the past some students who have not taken it seriously, who have failed the subject. This is not an easy subject to fail. It's sorry. Yeah, did I say it right? Yeah, not a difficult or easy. Is it? I remember. Anyway, this is a subject that you don't fail easily. Yeah, if you do everything right, passing is not an issue at all. It is trying to score. Okay, where knowing a little bit more deeper into what you need to do and how you need to do it. That's where that free time that you have comes in handy. You can go and look up some tutorials online, or you can look up some video tutorials, or even go and read up some tutorials on how to do certain things to make your illustration look much more nicer, better than the rest, or things like that. So if you spend a little bit extra time doing your homework in the background, you should be able to score really good marks for this subject. But if you just want to pass, it's not difficult to pass. Okay, it's just that when you don't do anything, okay, and just hand in your work towards the end, and you hand in really bad looking work or very poor looking work, that's where you are in trouble of either failing or even getting very low marks. Okay, so please make sure that you are here for the lectures and also attend the, what do you call, the tutorials. Oh, sorry, the practicals. I like to call it practicals, although they call it tutorials, but it's more on practical. We'll be doing everything, okay? Straight away from the beginning. No, I won't be asking you questions and all that. I'll show you how to use the software. Okay, you learn how to use the software, then you apply what you have drawn into that software, and then you produce your work at the end of the day. Okay, so this is what the subject is all about. Let's move on. Now, what are the aims of this subject? Let's take a look at it. Now, the aim is to provide knowledge of printed products. Now, although we are not going to do any printing this semester, I don't want you to do any kind of printing because everything is going to be uploaded online. But for those who are still thinking of printing your work and maybe framing it on your wall at home, okay, for everyone to see, of course, I will cover a little bit of printing, okay, in the practical section of this lecture. So to print using Illustrator, you need to know what to do and how to go about doing it, so that in the future, if you need to print anything, you will have an idea of how to do it, okay, using Illustrator. We'll also look at the importance of parameters, okay, for the reproduction of images, graphics, and text in the printing process. Because Illustrator and Photoshop, usually what you do when you combine these two together, the final product will usually be a printed product, okay? But that doesn't mean that because you're not going to print your work for this semester and everything is going to be uploaded online, doesn't mean that you don't, you will not know about it. I will still talk to you about it. And then in the future, if any other subjects require to print something, you will know how to go about it, okay? And then acquire knowledge of manuscript editing and the process of image and graphics, because all of this involves involves typography, images, graphics, and so on. And then acquire the theory and practice of computer-based print publication design. Okay, so if you have Like you see, in the past, all my students, when they handed in their work, they had to go and print. Then they will actually experience that whole process of going to the printer shop to do the printing and then handing in the work to me. But for this time, since I'm going to get all of you to upload it to a link which will be available on eLearn for you to upload your work, there are still certain things that you need to do in Illustrator to ensure that the work that is produced in the for the final piece, okay, follows certain parameters and certain what you call uh, certain practices and so on. Okay, I'll show you how to do that. All right, so these are the aims. Let's take a look at the learning outcomes. Now, this is an important thing because at the end of this subject, you should have learned how to do what is written here in the learning outcomes. Okay. So upon successful completion of this subject, take note, you should be able to produce a regional and consistent business communication package through the application of graphic design techniques. Now, the thing is, like I said, there are some subjects in the future, whether it is a common or core subject or even elective subjects that you may need to use Illustrator, Photoshop, or some other, let's say, for example, some other what you call Adobe product. But the main one is usually Illustrator or Photoshop. And what is going to happen is, I was sitting for a meeting last week, and one of my colleagues is actually a lecturer for an elective subject, and she was saying that she is not sure if students who are going to take that elective subject know how to use Photoshop or Illustrator. But and at the same time, I'm in that meeting, and I was thinking to myself, she shouldn't be saying that because I know my students will know how to use Illustrator or Photoshop and Photoshop, okay, to do the assignment. So please, if in the future you come across a subject where you're required to use Illustrator or Photoshop, please don't tell them that you don't know. You must already know. So don't forget what you learn here in this subject. Okay, make sure you apply it whether for your subjects in the future or at work. Okay, make sure you do that. Don't forget it. Now, how does this subject become very difficult for someone? That's because you don't have an interest in it. That's where my job comes in, to try and make you interested, okay, to try and make it as fun as possible, to try and learn Illustrator or and Photoshop. So if I'm not successful at doing that, that's where you as a student will tend to forget what has been done in this subject, and then thinking that you will not be using it anymore. Don't think of it that way. Try to slowly build an interest in it, okay, and you'll see how much fun this thing can become. Okay, let me just tell you, once you know how to use especially Illustrator, once you know how to use Illustrator and also of course Photoshop, these two software, things become a lot more easier in the future for you guys. Okay, so that's why I say don't forget what you're doing here. And then also another thing, another learning outcome is to apply the fundamentals of commercial art and design, which you'll learn in the lecture, okay, and demonstrate competency in the use of digital imagery and critical design decisions based on aesthetics and audience. So sometimes the audience need something else. The way or people think when you are designing for them, they think differently. So you must be in constant touch, or you must be constantly meeting and consulting your client, okay, on how they would like the design to look like. Okay, moving on. That's how it is. So for all of you, I am your client. I would like you to design something for me, and I will talk to you about it in the form of your assessment, which is coming up soon. Any questions on the learning outcomes? Everyone okay? I'm going to move on. I hope you're all still there. One of the things that we were all discussing about last week during the meeting on all of us, colleagues, is how to keep the students engaged in online learning. Okay, how to make sure that they are still there, because a lot of my colleagues say that many times they found that students join the meeting and then they are not there. So I would like to know whether you are there or not. And thanks to Shu Wei and Fiza, I know you are there. Okay, what about the rest? Okay, you can even speak into your mic if you want to, and just tell me that you are there, or say yes or okay or whatever it is. All right. But I will see how, when I do my lecture next week with you guys, see how to get you all to participate, and also to know that you are there now. Okay. So let's see how that turns out next week. All right. So let me move on. What are there are certain transferable skills that comes from this subject. And here you will have the ability to apply technical knowledge of concepts and practices of visual communication, ability to produce creative designs, and ability to function effectively in teams to accomplish a project goal. Now, not all of us are creative. Okay, I'm not creative myself, but this is something that you will need to slowly develop inside you. Okay, develop it slowly and apply it in the form of your sketches, and then slowly transform those sketches into digital form. Okay, digital form. These days, everything is going digital. As you can see now, our lecture is currently all online. Okay, it's all online. This is the future, guys. You can't run away from this. Uh, I've been with Sunway for more than 20 years, and we've been talking about this for the last 20 years. Okay, they are saying, teaching has to go digital, teaching has to go digital. And this year at Sunway, we were forced to go digital, no choice. Okay, and many of my colleagues, not only in DOC, but throughout Sunway University and the college, they were all caught off guard. They don't, some of them are not even tech savvy. Some of them don't even know how to, you'll be surprised. Some of them don't even know how to say launch their word processor, or even turn on the computer. I've seen my colleagues at Sunway calling ITS to come and turn on the computer for them because they don't know where the button is, or they can't find it on the desktop. These are the things that some of my colleagues are facing. This year we have all been forced to do this online. And if you notice, with the advancement in technology and our smart devices becoming so much more and more powerful and able to run nearly everything that is capable, not that is running on a desktop or computer, you will find that things are becoming more and more digitally, it's becoming digital. Everything is being done digital. In fact, see, I foresee a future where printing will become something of the past now. Okay, these days we are still printing stuff. You still see a lot of billboards on the highways. You see a lot of print media on the walls of the LRT stations, or even on the walls of your malls and so on. A lot of printing stuff are there, but you'll notice this trend where things are slowly moving digital. I think you have seen digital LED billboards, LED advertisements being shown. They can be expensive because it's not a new technology, but it's a new way of advertising. That's why it's expensive. But as more and more people get onto it, there's more demand for it, and the supply also becomes more. I think I see something. This thing actually, the price of advertising in this kind of media becoming much more lower in cost. Okay, that's what is happening. So you will see that this skill set that you will learn from this subject, you can apply it. Okay, you can apply it for web designing, you can apply it for digital. Let's say you got magazines that you are writing and you want it to be digital, you can apply it there. It can be applied for advertisements that apply as banners in web advertisements on LED billboards and so on. So you can do a lot of stuff. Okay, trust me, there's a lot of things you can do digitally. I will talk to you about something in one of the classes about how things are actually becoming so digital. More and more things are becoming digital, that what you learn here, you'll be able to apply it, easily for those things. All right. This is something I must tell all of you. I know some of you have been with me since 7:45 in the morning. All lectures and practicals will start on time, so don't be late. If I'm doing a face-to-face class, I expect you to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning. I know in the lifts, they put stickers on the ground to socially distance yourself from one another. If the lifts are full when you are coming for a class on campus, please take the stairs. I also sometimes take the stairs. Yes, I walk all the way to the 9th floor. Okay, I'll be sweating away, but that is not going to stop me from being late for class. Okay, and there are certain files I would like you to download, whether you're doing this at home or in class. Please download the files. I'll show you where to go and get it, and make sure all of you have it when you're already in the lab, so that I don't have to waste time getting you to download it, and then we start the practical later. As for lecture, I'll give you a bit of time, say about 8:05, then I'll start the lecture. Okay, although I like to start on time, but it's okay. I think some of you, depending on where you are in terms of your network connection and all that, your internet connection, I mean, I find that starting the class a little bit later is okay, because then you can join me. Okay. Right. So please don't be late. Any questions you want to ask me? Yes, now it's time for a break. Since we started at 8:05, so let's take a short break, so that we can come back and I can continue to tell you more about the assessment and what you need to do and so forth. So if you need to do anything, like finish that breakfast that you started, or go and do something else, please go and do it. If you want to talk to me, you can always chat with me in the chat box. And while I give you the break, let's listen to some Belinda Carlisle. Just chit-chatting only, okay? All right. So let's see. I wrote something at the beginning, which is for 4 students whose name I don't have in my attendance list. You can either privately let me know why your names are actually missing, or just let me know later on through an email. Okay, and there are some questions about the software. Let me come back to that again when I get to that section. All right. So are we all ready to start? Do you like my background? I managed to get my background to work. I'm now actually sitting outside at this field outside my house. Okay, and it's quite nice and sunny, if you can see in the background. Okay, let's move on. Hey, y'all don't believe me, yeah? Hey, that's why I must be physically, yeah? Physically attend the class, then you'll believe me. Anyway, thanks for being here after the break. May I know how many of you who are not in Malaysia right now? I see. Write it in your chat. Okay, write it in the chat box. I just want to know how many I can keep track. Okay, and then let's move on. You can see the slide on your screen. Okay, so far 3 students say they are not here. Okay, 3, 1, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 students. And then for those of you who are not in Selangor, that means you're in Malaysia but in your home, maybe back at home in your home state, you can also write you can write it in the chat box. I understand if I don't see you during the face-to-face, it's okay. Yeah, I understand the reason why. Okay, let's move on. Let's look at the next one. Assessment. There are some good news, okay? There's some good news. Let's see. Okay, what are the good news? The good news is this subject does not have any exam. That's the good news. Okay, but I don't know whether that's good to some of you, because some of you like exam, but here it's 100% coursework. So there's no need for you to worry about any exam. I'm not sure how many subjects you're taking this semester, but my subject, no exam at all. But it is broken up into two assignments, okay, or two projects. I like to call it as two projects. First is an individual mini project, okay, or mini project which is done individually, 30%. And then there's a group project. This is where many don't like the word group, but no choice. You have to do it in group because this is a big project and it's worth 70%. Okay, 70%. It's a big project. There's a lot of work to do. So that is why a lot of marks is given for that project. Whereas the mini project is something you can do individually. It's not difficult to do. Okay, so let's look into these two assignments in more detail. So the first project, the mini project, which is worth 30%, is an individual assignment. And I like giving this assignment. I've given this from the very beginning when we were known as DCLA, Department of Communication and Liberal Arts, and right until we changed it, we dropped the liberal arts and called it Department of Communication. So now we are known as DOC. And I like the whole idea of students trying to design a logo for DOC, for us, okay, for the department. You can see, so far, none of the logos designed for DCLA or for DOC have been used by the department because I have not forwarded any of it to the HOD or to the department because I don't think any of the logos so far that have been given to me really represents DOC. Okay, so who knows? Maybe this semester, out of the 50 of you, there will be of several of you that I picked that can then represent DOC, and you will most probably see it in our Facebook page and so on in the future. But this is just something that I always say to my students, but most of the time there is not one that really catches, okay, my eye. Even when I put it forward to my colleagues to look at it, they don't seem to think that it represents the Department of Communication as a whole. So I leave it up to you to think about it. Okay, this is due in week 7, and you only need to use Illustrator to do this. No other software. Don't use Photoshop. Don't use any other thing that you find online for free. Use Illustrator to do it. So to start, okay, class, to start, what you need to do, okay, what you need to do is to start drawing or sketching something out on whichever piece of paper that you have, or even you can start sketching directly digitally, okay, if you want to. For those who know how to use Illustrator, if you want to start sketching on Illustrator, you go ahead and sketch it. But I would like to see these sketches, okay? Usually a student will go through something like 15 to 20 sketch before I agree on the final sketch to be used as the logo that you're going to digitize, okay, from your sketch to digitize it using Illustrator. So when do you show me these sketches? That's where the consultation time comes in. You can show me during the consultation time. You can show me by sending it as an email to me. Okay, if you're sketching it on a piece of paper, make sure you take a nice shot of it using your phone and then attach it to an email and send it to me, and I will give you feedback. And if you happen to see me during consultation, you can screen share with me, and then I can also do some annotation on the spot to your sketches to tell you what should be removed and what should be added in and so on. So start sketching from today. If you can, start sketching. Okay, you have a piece of paper lying around, sketch something on that piece of paper. Don't just leave it blank. Okay, sketch what you think can represent DOC. So I will talk to you more about this next week. Okay, what you need to do and so on. But just a few things things that you want to think about when you're sketching is if you want to have the words Department of Communication in your logo, go ahead. You can have it, or you can even simply leave it as DOC if you want, or both. You can even do both. Go ahead. Now, I know some of you are saying you can't draw. Hey, no worries. Can you draw a line or not? Can you draw a line? If you can draw a line, that means you can draw. Okay, trust me, when you can draw a line, you can draw. And make sure you have one of these. Yeah, I think you can see it. My background is blocking. Let me remove the blocking. Okay, I think you can see lah. Okay, this is a ruler. Okay, see ruler. Okay, see. The ruler is a very important tool when it comes to drawing and underlining. Okay, this is very important because in the past I've seen students drawing straight lines freehand without ruler and doesn't look straight lah. Okay, so whether it's a long ruler like this or you get a short one, doesn't matter as long as you got a ruler. And what else does the ruler have? Okay, can someone tell me what else does the ruler have? On the ruler, what can you find?
Measurements.
Yes, correct. Measurements, and the measurements can come in two forms now. You got the imperial system, which is using inches, and you also have centimeter, which is the metric system. So very important, these measurements, and how you use these measurements to draw your work on that piece of paper is how the logo or your product will look like when it's printed up or when it's converted to a format that you want it displayed on the screen. Okay, so let's say your logo is going to be a 10 by 10 inch logo. That means 10 centimeter in terms of width and 10 centimeter in terms of height. That means it's a cube. It becomes a rectangle, which is in the form of a cube. Not cube, sorry, a square rectangle with the sides, the same sides for width and height. Okay, so when you print, you will get an exact 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter printout of that, whatever that you have done in your Illustrator. So Illustrator also has got rulers in it. Illustrator has also got the measurements in the form of units. They have measurements such as centimeters, inches. They've got measurements for for in pixels and things like that. So we are going to use either centimeter or inches. It doesn't matter. Which one you're more familiar with, you can use it. Okay. Most of the work that I will do in the practical actually in the form of inches because that book comes from America, but no problem changing it to metric if you want to. Okay. Yes, Wesley, you can use other software to sketch and then later on transfer that sketch onto Illustrator. Not a problem. If you don't want to draw, use a software to sketch. You can use Paint if you want to. Microsoft has got Microsoft Paint. Use Paint to sketch. And then later, okay, show me your sketch. As we progress, show me your sketch. And then you go on to convert it to using Illustrator and then display the work. Okay, and then produce the final work. So when you are sketching, class, when you are sketching, I know I say this because I say this to all my students. I'm going to say it to you also, just in case. There will always be some of you who would like to come and show me. Okay, you would like to come and show me your work. I know some of you will come and show me your work. Let me just remove that background. Now you know that I am not background. None. You can see my very ugly looking background, but that's okay. I know some of you will run up to me, during the face-to-face classes and say, "I would like to show you my sketch. I'd like to show you my drawing and ask you what you think about it and so on." I mean, that will happen. I can't stop you from doing it, but please remember to be 1 meter away from me. 10 means about 1.5 meters away from me. So because you're going to be in, you're going to have that distance. Please do not draw anything, okay, like that. Can you see that now? Can you see that? Can you see what is drawn there? I don't know whether you can see that. Okay, so let's say, for example, yes, Nick says he can't see anything. Sharon also says cannot see anything, but actually there's something there. I have to move this. I have to move this closer to the camera, and now you will see something drawn there. Okay, there's a small circle. I draw a circle. Okay, yes, it's a circle, small one. Okay, so imagine about 1 meter away. That's about roughly about 1 meter away. I know you can't see anything. Okay, you can't see anything. So please avoid, class, please avoid giving me drawings that are so small. I want you to draw, if you can, A4 size paper, right? This is A4. This is portrait. This is landscape. I want you to draw big, big. Okay, I'm going to draw something very big now. Big. Now I'm sure you can see the circle. Okay, it has to be big and nice. At least try to cover about 70% of the space that what you call that space in your paper. So it's big and nice. Then I can see it. Even if you were to stand a meter away from me, I can at least still see your work. And all this drawing that you have, what I want you to do is I want you to keep it. So whether you're doing it digitally on your say Paint or some other sketching software, or you are doing it on your piece of paper, you have to keep it. Okay, keep it. Why? Because all of this will be proof of the work that you have been doing. Okay, to show me proof that you have been doing all this work. If I were to ask you, I want to know how you got to this particular, let's say for example, logo, you must show me the proof. Okay, that this is how you got to the logo. So keep all that work aside. Another thing I want to tell you is that go and think about, okay? Think about how you would like to represent our Department of Communication, okay? Sometimes I get students to start off by writing points down on what they like to see in their drawing, okay? Maybe the first point you like to say, I like my circle, I like my logo to be a circle. So write there, point 1, circle. Okay, later on, you can think of what circle you want to do, whether it's a big circle, small circle, half circle, quarter circle. Is there such a thing as quarter circle? Okay, you want it to look quarter, half, okay, and things like that. Or maybe crescent style, or and things like that. Then what other shapes that you would like to see in your logo? You want to see triangle, octagon, hexagon, sorry, not hectagon, hexagon. Okay, you want to see, say, maybe a rectangle, okay, or a square. Write it down. Just write down first all these points, okay? What other things I like to see? Color, what type of color? Blue, green, red. You want to see pastel colors, you want to see solid colors, or you want to see some of those new bright colors or neon colors. Write it down. Okay, just write down. Okay, things like that. Write it down, and then think about what we did last semester. Okay, how do I get people attracted to my logo? Think about all those things. Do I need words in my logo? If I need any words, okay, what are the words I'm going to put in my logo? Is it going to be just the 3 letters, DOC, or is it going to be the full sentence, Department of Communication? Write it all down. Okay, and along the way, don't forget, this is very important, because this will help you measure the width and the height of your logo, okay, and also draw straight lines for you and so on. Someone said they can draw stick man. Stick man, wow. There's no need for you to have any stick man in your logo. Maybe in the second project you should have. Okay, you can think of drawing it. All right, let's see. Did I miss out anything? Like this is due in week 7. Okay, because everything is going to be online. So week 7, that's when it's due. Okay. So what you do now this week, start drawing, and then once you have finished, once you have started sketching and you want to show me something, take a snapshot of me and email it to me. Let me have a look. Okay, and as you start emailing it to me, please make sure that the subject header of your email, you write there as sketch 1, sketch 2, sketch 3. So I know that you are writing those, you are sending me different sketches. Huh? Okay, There's one more thing that both assignments have. There is progression. You have to show me some sort of progression. I have to come back to you on the mini project whether there's progression, but I know the second one has got progression. I'll tell you about it in the second one, this one. So this major project is 70%, is 4 to 5 in a group. So if I have 50 students, 5 in a group means that means 10 groups. Okay, 4 in a group means that means there'll be that number of groups. Maths is not that good. I think I'll have about 11. Okay, so don't come and ask me if 3 can be in a group, 2 can be in a group, or one doesn't even make up a group. Try to make yourself at least 4 to 5. I will put up the form like what I did last time and so on. It will be available for you. If it's not available now, then you just go and write your names there. If you like to stick with the same group you had the last time, then write your names there. Okay, and nominate a group leader. Nominate a group leader, put the word GL next to that name. Of course, the group leader's name is always at the top. Okay, put the name GL. That's the person I would like to correspond with most of the time. But when you send me emails in the future regarding the group project, the major project, everybody needs to be in that email so that everybody knows what we are doing or what I'm saying. Okay, this is something I had to keep repeating most of the time in the last semester, and some of you still send me emails individually, not putting in your group member's name, which I found it very annoying actually. After a while it became was very annoying because I kept repeating again and again the same thing. I hope I don't need to do that. Okay, I don't like to repeat myself when it comes to certain instructions. When it comes to lecture, repeating is okay, but instructions, I think when I say it once, everybody must know what it is all about. Or if you don't get it the first time, you can always see me during consultation, email me, or go and read the project brief, find out more. Okay. So this is a magazine cover that you need to design, and for which school? For our department actually. This is for the Department of Communication and not the School of Arts. It's not for Department of Performance and Media. Art and design, this is for our department, communication. So think of a magazine cover that can fit our department. And then the two spread article is actually, you have to write an article that will be spread over 2 pages. Not an entire full magazine, just a simple article. You have to think about the article you want to write. I'll talk more about this when I give you the project brief. Actually, I'll do the brief, say about week 4 or 5 into the semester so that you have an idea of how to go about doing it. I would like to see the group name list first. Okay, get that done first, then I can give you a brief of the assessment for the major project. So this is 70%. This is considered like your exam. Okay, class, this is considered like your exam. Make sure you do this. You must not, okay, this one don't do well means that means everything gone, Okay. Now there is a question from Aisha. Do you need to be in the same tutorial slot or you can be now because this is I've done this before with students being in different different practical slots. It's okay, you can be in different practical slots, but when you want to meet me for consultation, I would prefer everyone to be there during the consultation. Okay, so if I'm giving you that, if I'm looking at that, then you have to decide how you want your group members, okay, or where you want your group members to be. But if usually consultation will be outside, right, outside of the practical slot, so it should be okay. If I'm having an online, say, discussion during the practical, and your group members want to join me online just for that practical and then go back to the respective practical class for the practical session, you arrange it between yourselves, okay? All right, thanks. So this is 70%. Okay, I will give you back the marks for your mini project class. I'll give you back the marks for your mini project, but major project, the marks you will see it finally in your results. Okay, I won't give these marks back. So the reason is because this is treated as the exam, okay, like the exam. So when you get your results, you will see the marks. So take note, it's due in week 14. I know week 14 is supposed to be the study week for all of you, but I think week 14 should be, because there's no exam, week 14 should be okay for this particular assessment. You should be done by week 13 and get it uploaded into the link, okay, by then. Any questions so far about this? Anyone else has got any other question? All okay, so far. Move on. I'm going to end the class already. Now, there are some things that you need to think about. Anything that is late by 1 day, I will minus 5 marks, and anything 2 days, I minus 10 marks, okay? So please, no excuses whatsoever. Assignment due dates will not be extended. Please don't email me your work if you have missed the due date. Remember, all the due date and times are actually not date. The time is all following Malaysian time. So you will live somewhere else. Please make sure that you know what is the Malaysian time to submit your work. Okay. I don't want to hear any reasons why you missed it and all that. You know, last semester, not your group, not your subject, but another subject. I had this group work, and this group of students missed the deadline, and then they sent me a long. I don't know how they got hold of my telephone number. They sent me a long WhatsApp message. I don't want to hear all that. If you're going to work in the industry and your supervisor or your manager or whoever it is tells you, you know, there's this project and this is the due date, okay, or I want to see something, okay, that is working on this date, and you say yes boss or yes sir or whatever it is, and then you go and work in that group, and you find that working in that group is not easy because there are some teammates who don't do any work but take all the credit. There are some people who are doing so little work, some who is not doing something, and you are doing most of it, and then finally the date comes and you are supposed to submit your work and you don't have your entire work. What do you think the management is going to say? Oh, it's okay, I will give you some more time to do your work, it's all right, you know, you can don't worry about it, I'm okay with it, it's all right, and all that. You can forget about getting all this kind of this thing from happening, because they're just going to tell you, I gave you this time, you said you can do the work, or you started working on it, you showed me some progress along the way, and now you can't deliver. What is it? What is the problem with you? You know, they will just tell you off. Okay, they don't want to hear anything. Same thing, I'm going to treat you guys like that. This is something that you're doing, you have to do your work. If you got any problems, any issues along the way, any challenges, that's where you have to come in. You have to email me or come and see me during consultation or anytime outside consultation to talk to me about what's happening, so that we can try to solve the thing at a very early stage rather than waiting for the last minute. And if you can't meet the deadline, you also have to email me. Let me know. Okay, why, what, and then I can give you some solution as to how to try and meet the deadline. Okay, so take note of this. I'm very serious about this thing, so take note of it. Don't come and give me this excuses thing. I don't like to hear a lot of excuses. No, so please don't do that. Now these are the two software that I'll be using. I said that I'll be using Illustrator and Photoshop. You can use any version, even if you have a CS6 version of it, you can use it. It's just that it may not have the latest features that are found in the newer version. That's okay. That's all. The one that I'm currently using is actually a Creative Cloud 2020. I've got it installed in my machine here. I think the one in the Multimedia Lab is the 2018 or 2019 version, but they will update it. They usually update it to the latest version. Every year the updation takes place because they got some kind of agreement with Adobe. Another thing is, there's a there's an email here. I think, yeah, Yutong wants to know whether you can use the apps in the library. I don't know whether, okay, Yutong, if you're listening, I don't know whether the library has got Adobe installed in it. Okay, you must check. I really don't know. What I know is Multimedia Lab is the place where we have the software installed in. You can use the Multimedia Lab. So when I give you the access to enter Multimedia Lab, and make sure when you're on campus, you bring your student ID along. When you gain access to the Multimedia Lab, you can use it. Okay, you can use the Multimedia Lab to do your work. So what is the time? You can start using it anywhere from 8 o'clock in the morning to I think up to 6 p.m. if you want to. Okay. Those days that when they're having classes in there, and most of the time it is my class only in there, you should be able to use the software without any problems. Remember, when someone is having a class in there, you can't go in. Remember the social distancing thing. So if let's say you are trying to use the classroom because you see some free computers, please wait until the class, which is the multimedia lab, wait until the lecture is finished. Then only you go in to use the. Now, some of you have already emailed me asking me whether the link that you have sent me from a particular e-commerce site is trustable and all that. I think what I will do is email me and I'll share with you the link where I got mine from. Mine has been working ever since the beginning of the year without any problems, touch wood. So you may want to consider, okay? You may want to consider that. It's the full suite. I got the full suite, full Creative Cloud suite. Working fine. I've got everything there. What you need to have is just Illustrator and Photoshop. There is another way to get Illustrator and Photoshop without downloading anything, and that is through something called, I don't know whether you all have heard of this, but there's something called iLabs. There is a link, but this link only works if you are on campus and using the campus Wi-Fi. Okay, it's called iLabs or something, and you go there, they will get you to download client software on your desktop, sorry, on your PC, and then from there you can log on to their server, which actually hosts this Creative Cloud. But that can be a little bit laggy because you are going to use the Wi-Fi. You have to be connected to the Wi-Fi, and then you need to be where the signal is strong. So I would advise you against using that. Okay, try to get the software through other means if you can. All right. Any questions on the software? Anyone else wants to ask me anything else on the software? I hope I will email you again, Yutong, to reply to your email. Anything else on the software? All okay. If you are coming from, I think many of you you are familiar with the software, but for those who are not, please don't worry about it. Okay, these are just some of the reference books that I'll be using, okay, for lecture. And I have actually a book that I use for the practical. And when I use that book, you can find it in the library. I've got one version of it, and I actually got an older version, a CS5 version. Okay, but the library has got some updated versions. You get this version that you're seeing right now, this is the CS6 version, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And also they also have this one. Okay, Creative Cloud version in the library, and you can get a lot of this. You can get these books also online if you want to. I've also put up some digital versions of certain books online that you can go and follow, okay, in your own time. So I already mentioned this. Practical starts in week 2. Assessment will be handed out in week 2. I'll put up the assessment. I'll put up the first assessment first, the logo assessment. Then I'll put up the major project one after that. Always check eLearn for any updates. I think that's how you all got here. That's because you are all registered for this subject on eLearn, so you get notifications. For those who haven't registered on eLearn, please go and do so. I did not put any password. Look up for COM1094 graphic communication and register yourself for this subject. You need to be registered for it so that when you want to upload something to eLearn, I can then give you your marks back and all that using. I'm going to try something very different this semester. Hopefully it works. Okay, with the help of my other colleagues, they will assist me and see whether it works, and then we'll see how it goes from there. I assume everyone is a beginner. That's what my assumption is. So whether you know how to use Illustrator or Photoshop, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're working on PC or Mac, both are accepted. So take note of that. It doesn't matter which version of Adobe you're using. This CS stands for Creative Suite. The other one, CC, stands for Creative Cloud. As long as it works, the work can be done. Please have a large thumb drive. If you're coming to campus to do your work, have something more than 8 gigabytes. And don't forget to take it back once you're done. Okay, you can actually upload to your OneDrive and keep it there, but then because the files will be all saved as an AI file or a PSD file, I advise against saving it into OneDrive. Save it into your thumb drive so that you can take it back home and use it on your computer at home. Okay. I think thumb drives this. I just bought a 64 gig thumb drive earlier this year. Last semester I bought one for only about 28 ringgit or 30 ringgit, 64 gigs. Okay. And then make sure your internet connection is stable. That's very important. Okay. Very important to have a stable internet connection to do this. Any questions? Anything you want to ask me? Anyone has got any questions? Sir, about the group assignment, can we have 6 in the group? I just said, right, 4 to 5 only, no 6. Let's see lah, let's see how. If I find someone cannot get a group, from the very beginning itself, please ask around and make sure that you're all in a group. Okay, make it 5 first. Okay, make it 5 first, Wei Han. And then later on, I will see how whether if there's a person who doesn't have a group, I will see. Okay, that's when 6 can happen. If not, 4 to 5 only. 4 to 5 only. If everybody can have 5 in a group, then it makes it so easy for me. I will have 10 groups, which is so much easier. Any other thing you want to ask me? Anyone else with any questions? Anything to ask me? Here I am. Let me go to space. Nice last space. It's not nicer. Okay, no questions? Okay, so the next slide is going to show you this nice little this big thank you. Thank you for being here. Okay, thank you for being here this morning. I know some of you are not in Malaysia and you have to get up. I think the time difference is not so bad, right? Okay, I remember last semester there was one student who was in Hungary, remember? Okay, I don't have this student anymore this semester. I think most of you are either in Japan, Vietnam, or Indonesia within this. And if you're in Japan, you're just 1 hour before us, right? Now it's what? 10 o'clock for you, 10:30. All right. And if you're in, what about Vietnam? Is it the same as us or 1 hour behind us? You know, Indonesia is 1 hour behind us, right? So it's 8:30 for you guys, right? 1 hour earlier, yeah. Okay. Not sure why is it like that. In Vietnam is very close to Hong Kong. It should be Hong Kong is our time, but not. What about the rest? Anyone from China? I know Yuki is from China, but he's not joined us today. Yuki, are you here? He is not here. Anyone else who's not in Malaysia besides the one who answered my question earlier? Okay, so if you've got no questions, then I will see you tomorrow. This week there's no practical. I'll let you get yourself organized with the software and everything. And then I will see you next week on Thursday. Okay? Thursday and Friday. I will see you next week, Thursday. You can bring your laptop along, along to the multimedia lab if you want to. Okay? If let's say you want to bring it along, if you don't want to touch the computers there because of all this COVID-19 thing, bring it along. Please wear your mask. I think there are people going around and reminding people to wear your mask and try not to be too close to each other because there are people who will come and remind you not to be close to each other. One of them is also me. I will come and remind you, okay, not to be close to each other. And also, you may see me doing the practical without a mask. I cannot do this with a mask on. Some people can, but it's very difficult for me. And I think I want the recording to be also very clear. So please don't make a complaint against me for not wearing. But as soon as everything is over, I put back my mask. Okay. Anything else? Any other thing that you want? Any updates that I need to tell you about? Yes. Good news. Good news. This is very good news. Okay. The good news is there is one holiday this week on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. All right. So why is it a good news? Because then I can sleep later. I don't have to get up so early. For me, it's good news. For you guys, so good because most probably you won't have any lecture if there's anything going on during that Thursday. Another good news is on the 31st of August is our National Day. Okay, so students who are not here in Malaysia, take note. 31st of August is our National Day. It's a Friday. Sorry, it's a Monday. Friday, but it's a Monday. There's no lecture. Okay, no lecture. That doesn't mean no lecture. That means no replacement. It's a public holiday. Okay, that's good news. Any other thing I missed out? And of course, there are some holidays in October, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, and also one more in November. I will let you know when we get to that. Okay, so no questions. Thank you, guys. I think I can end now. I'll stop sharing this slide. You all never change your pictures. Change lah. Give me some updated pictures. I think some got lah. Okay. Let me see. The best picture is actually this one, Yunpei and Chanji. Okay. All right. Take a lot of pictures. Okay. Please go and take a lot of pictures. This recording will be up later on in the day.